3, 2, 1, dead radio.
Hey guys, happy freaking, well, it's late, so by the time this video will be, uploaded, it'll be Thursday. And yes, that is all hyphenated, by the way. How are you guys? Today we are talking about bloating. Stuffing games with content that it doesn't need, or the reverse of that, which is not having enough content in your game to keep players invested. And I have two candidates for us to observe, and two references. The understuffing side, we have Titanfall, which is the gameplay you're seeing now, and on the overstuffing side we have Battlefield 4. Now we're going to start with understuffing. Is understuffing a problem? For me, yeah, I think that in some games when they try to go simplified, like back in the day of GoldenEye, you could have 10 guns in your game and it would still be a blast because that was, that was gaming culture of that time, because GoldenEye, it didn't have a custom class section, it didn't have any of that stuff. It was, compared to today's games, a very simplified game. Don't get me wrong, GoldenEye is amazing. But as far as modern games go, especially with Titanfall, I think a problem with Titanfall is the lack of stuff to, unlock. They have these 50 levels and 10 generations, but there's only 2 assault rifles, a submachine gun, and, a 1 light machine gun, 2 snipers. Like, there's not a lot to use. I mean, it gets, as far as gunplay goes, it does get boring fast. You'll kind of get sick of the old guns you have. And you don't really unlock stuff like for, say, in Call of Duty, where you're unlocking something every other level, or Battlefield, where there's like a never-ending source of stuff to unlock. It's ridiculous. And then Titanfall doesn't have traditional camos or anything like that. I know they wanted to set themselves apart, and I'm not trying to pick apart Titanfall. I'm using Titanfall as an example. Do not think that, I don't want you guys to walk away from this video thinking, oh, he hates Titanfall or something, because I love Titanfall. But I'm just using it as an example because as far as content-wise, unlocking guns and stuff like that, there's not a lot. There's 3 Titan types, which you unlock by, you start with 1, you unlock the other 2 by doing the campaign. So it's not like you really have to try super hard for those. And the rest of the guns you get by leveling up, and there's not a whole lot. There's a couple grenade types, a couple perks, although I think they're called ordnance, or no, not ordnance. They're called something, or something or other. And then there's like 10 guns, and that's it. That's what you got the whole game, and it's not a problem. Like, I don't think Titanfall would be a like way better game if they had a lot more guns, because I'm sure there's a balancing issue behind it, and that's another point that we're going to get into when I talk about Battlefield, is balancing. But I think the way Titanfall handles this is kind of decently okay. I mean, they wanted to keep the game to they wanted to kind of simplify the game, and I know it sounds weird, especially nowadays, but they wanted the game to be a pretty simple concept, and they wanted to balance the guns and make them as useful in their scenarios as you can. So you have 2 assault rifles, yeah, but those 2 assault rifles are super balanced. Yeah, you only have 2 sniper rifles, but dude, those snipers are balanced. And the way the game works, it does work around this, but I do feel as if there is definitely a lack of stuff in the game. And now we're going to switch over to our example of bloating, which is Battlefield 4. A lot of people will talk about this because Battlefield 4 has had issues since launch, and this video is going to be uploaded freaking June 5th, and the issues are still not fixed. Well, at least some are, but not all of them. Now, Battlefield, one of the issues that we're having, well, not that we're having, but one of the issues with the game design itself is they just have so much stuff. There's like, I think, upwards of 15 assault rifles. There's at least 10 PDWs, about the same amount of carbines. There's a bunch of LMGs, there's a bunch of sniper rifles, there's a bunch of pistols, there's a bunch of grenades, there's a bunch of vehicles, there's a bunch of camos, and then a bunch more stuff that's being added with DLC, and then more gadgets, and more everything, and sights, and attachments, and silencers, and battle packs, and just throwing stuff at you on these huge maps that take, 10 gigabytes per map to download, and I'm exaggerating, of course, with the gigabytes, but just huge, everything's huge, everything's epic, explosions are huge, there's hundreds of weapons and everything, and it, normally I wouldn't have a problem with it, but it does become a balancing issue, because now certain guns are kind of left in the dust. I'll give you a perfect example, the L96. There is literally no reason to use the L96 because every other sniper outperforms it in some way. The L96 is a runt hybrid of all other sniper rifles put into one underachieving package, which really, really sucks because the L96 is my personal favorite sniper, like in the real world. But just, Battlefield 4 has a lot of stuff. And it does, of course, lead to issues, like I said, with the L96, where you got guns that are just completely useless and other guns that everyone flocks to. It becomes an issue of balance. And then when you add 5 guns of DLC, that sounds awesome that sounds awesome, and don't get me wrong, I love the DLC guns, and I have premium, so I will get all of them, of course. But it's just, it becomes too much. And it gets to the point where these developers, DICE obviously, want to add so much stuff to the game, they just want to throw more stuff at it. But then throwing more stuff at the game to a non-balanced game only, makes the unbalancing issues a little bit worse. To where you have weapons that are completely useless, and you have overpowered vehicles, or just a bunch of different issues that I'm not going to go into right now because I'm not trying to bash Battlefield 4. Again, like I said, Titanfall, I'm just using it as an example of bloating. It's kind of the same thing with Call of Duty. A lot of people are kind of upset about Invasion not having a DLC weapon, but it does make sense. Call of Duty Ghosts has a lot of guns, and it has a lot of guns for a Call of Duty game, and adding more guns, they have to keep them balanced, and there's only so much you can do to balance out the guns without making clones of each other. Another issue we see in Battlefield, where certain guns are literally just clones of each other with slightly different stats, like a higher rate of fire here, or lower recoil here, or something or other, just something to change it. Like, there's only so much you can tweak to a gun to make it feel different from another gun. Aesthetics alone, I could have 2 guns look completely different, but if they perform the same, I would notice. I'd feel that performance similarity, and I'd be like, oh, well, there's no reason to use either one of these. They perform the exact freaking same. But it just becomes an issue when there's too much to keep track of, and I think that's what happened with Battlefield 4, is DICE was putting so much in the game that they kind of lost track of everything. They were already rushed. They were already they were already getting pushed to release the game by oh my god, EA. I'm sorry. One take, that's all I do. But they were already being rushed, and they had so much stuff to add to the game, and that should have been the end of it. They should have been like, okay, well, we have a lot of stuff in this game. We need to work on balancing. But no, they are adding anti-air mines and flying drones that shoot bullets and EOD bots with grenade launchers on them, and I don't think they should be doing that. Guns are one thing. Guns are easy to tweak and balance and change stats on, but Battlefield gadgets aren't really. I mean, they're adding a riot shield, for Christ's sake, into Battlefield 4. Who knows what that's going to do to the gameplay? It's not like they test it. I mean, I don't know. Is it going to be able to stop grenades? Or are you going to be able to corner camp and sit there with a pistol and shoot out of it? We don't know yet. We haven't really seen much of Dragon's Teeth. I mean, and obviously I know it's not going to be able to, do like in Modern Warfare 2, where you could sit in a corner and block AC-130 shells. But I'm just saying, we don't really know what a lot of these gadgets are going to do to the performance of the game. And that's kind of scary. When the game is so bloated and they keep adding more stuff to it, it does create problems. So my question to you, though, is, because Battlefield 4 has upwards of 100 camos, and I would say roughly 100 guns, whereas Titanfall has no camos and, 10 guns total with, a few maps and stuff like that. Do you think, what would you rather have? An understuffed game? Titanfall, for example, or an overstuffed game? example being Battlefield 4. Tell me down in the comments. I really want to hear your opinions on this, guys. You have no idea how badly I want to know. But just, what do you think? Would you rather have a game be, be understuffed or overstuffed? I've been thinking about this for a while, and me personally, I think I'd rather have an overstuffed game. My reasoning being, you can always take all the stuff that's been stuffed, that's been bloated into the game, and kind of balance it out a little bit better. Like, I know that in Battlefield 4, for example, obviously, later on, a year from now, everything will be perfectly 100% balanced. And look at Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 launched, and it was broken. It was badly unbalanced. But now you play it, and it's freaking perfect. And I feel good for all those people who got the Origin deal to get Battlefield 3 for free, because now their first Battlefield experience is going to be a great game. Whereas a lot of people getting Battlefield 4 are like, oh, this is broken, this is unbalanced, netcode's bad, issues like that. And that's why that's why I think that having a bloated game would be a little bit better than having an understuffed game. That's just me. I'd really want to hear your opinions. So just put what you think down there in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Stay classy, guys.